Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Dr. Matilda Nwukor and welcome to class. And today we'll be talking to us about the laws 16 and 17 from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And I would like you to stay with me so we go through these laws and how they can affect you as a leader, as a mother, as a father, and as a worker, any sphere of life you find yourself, you can actually benefit from these laws. Well, I'm talking to you from Fundquarters Business School, and we are about training and empowering leaders and workers and business persons with leadership training courses for their business growth. So let's dive quickly into these classes. I think I need to brighten the screen so that sorry, I had to do this from my phone because I found out that I couldn't get to the house to use my system. So yeah, I think the system is now very bright. So let's look at the law. I think I should go up a bit. Okay, the law of the big momentum. MO is momentum plus the law of priorities. That's what we're diving into tonight. The law of momentum, big momentum, and the law of priorities. So how great leaders build momentum and focus on what truly matters is what we'll be looking at today. How can you build momentum as a leader in your business and focus on what really matters is what we are going to focus. So momentum is a leader's best friend. When a leader has momentum, then it's seen as a leader's best friend, because with momentum you can achieve so much more in your business than without momentum. When there's when there's a force like a push, helping you to achieve more, a lot of things can be woken up when there's momentum in your business. But when there's no momentum in your business, then you now find that everything will be dull, and you yourself will even be tired because you're not there's nothing to excite you. Maybe there's no money, everything is just lagging behind. But when there is momentum, everything is moving, people are calling, money is coming to the company. See, the energy, the tempo will be different. Even in your house, even in your home, when you notice when things coming, maybe the money comes in, or the energy of the house changes, everybody is excited, you can get things done. So likewise in your business, when there's momentum, there's you are happy being in business or being part of a team. So momentum is actually your very best friend, and your priorities determine the direction of momentum. So the things you focus on will determine how the momentum is going to go. So that is why we say, as leaders, you need to prioritize. You need to know the things you need to focus on to create the momentum you deserve in your business. And successful leaders focus energy on high impact actions. The things that will help you, the things that will help the company to go forward, are the things you're supposed to focus on. Put your energy on high impact actions. The things, when you do them or put them together, is going to help your company achieve massively. These are the things we expect you as a leader to focus on. So your growth will happen when movement and focus work together. That is when growth will happen. That is when momentum will come in, when your movement and your focus work together. So you can't say you want to achieve something great. Maybe you want to achieve more sales, and then you are not focusing on the things that's going to make the sales happen. Like in the book that I just finished reading, the book we are looking at, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell cited some persons and how they focused fully on their vision and their dreams, and from there they got momentum to get things going, right? So as a business person, you need to focus on those high impact, put your energy on those things that need to give you the desired action, the desired impact you want in your business. So why some leaders move faster than others? Some people work hard but remain stagnant. See, activity is not accomplishment. You can be very busy doing nothing. You can. Some people, you just enter your shop floor, they're everywhere. The activity, but there's no accomplishment because you are scattering your energies on the things that are not needful. Not that they are not needful, they are needful, yes, but they're not what is going to give you the momentum you desire. So you don't focus on things that will not move you forward. So some people work too hard but remain stagnant. So are you working hard and you're remaining stagnant? You need to go back to the drawing board. And then others seem to accelerate opportunities effortlessly. So other people, opportunities will come and they will accelerate it effortlessly because they're putting all they have in them to ensure that everything goes towards helping achieve the current company goals. So it will look as if things are happening for them effortlessly. No, they've chosen their priorities. They are prioritizing on the things that is going to bring about the change they desire in the company. So momentum creates visibility. When you have momentum, you become visible. People will begin to come to you. People will begin to, troop to whatever it is you're doing. And then your confidence, will attract a lot of persons to you. It is going to bring traction. People will begin to come into what you're doing. So momentum creates visibility. Oh, people might say, when did this happen? When did this company start? I'm just hearing about these people. That is how it is because you now have momentum. Maybe because you have momentum, people are buying it. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are coming to your company. A lot of people are like, wow, I want to be part of this. Maybe like the examples he used, the people that okay, the Pixar, the animated, computer animated videos, feature films they created, helped Disney and also helped them to go very, very far. You understand? People became attracted and then things began to happen. So activity without priority creates exhaustion. When you have activity and there's no priority, you're not prioritizing and you're just moving around and doing a lot of things, then you are going to become exhausted. So your momentum without direction creates confusion. Yes, momentum, where are we going to channel this energy? Without direction, you need to know where I'm channeling this energy, so I'm going to get results from it. So if you channel energy and momentum and then into every aspect of things, then you won't get any tangible results. Because it's like somebody like chasing so many birds at the same time. You won't catch anyone. Right? You can't catch anyone. Many rabbits inside the bush. You are chasing here. So you need to focus to know which is going to give you your best results. Now let's look at understanding the law of the big moment. Momentum is a leader's greatest multiplier. It's actually seen as a leader's best friend. That is what momentum is seen as. So it's going to multiply what you are doing as a leader. Momentum is going to multiply what you are doing as a leader. And it turns small wins into large victories. When there's momentum, it will turn your small win into a very mighty victory, and people begin to know about it, and that is how it's going to wake up a lot of things around you. So as a leader, you need to learn how to create momentum and how to channel it, into what you're doing. So people naturally follow movement and progress. People want where it's happening. At times you pass in a place, you see a lot of people trooping to a place where there's momentum. So I think some things are happening there. You see a lot of everybody wants to be part of it. That's just human nature for you. So if you're even friends with some people and you're not creating momentum where you are, you see all of them, they will drift away from you because that is human nature. They want where it is happening. They want where it is happening. They want where their energy and their effort will be recognized. So momentum often matters more than talent at the beginning. Momentum matters more than talent at the beginning because you can see some people, they might not have all the talent, but they have momentum, they have that speed, and as they are moving, a lot of people will jump in, and then that is how they keep getting better, right? They keep getting better. So as like you now, you have a dream, you know what you want to do. You might not have everything, you have this vision in your head, and you begin to talk about it, and before you know, you have momentum. People begin to look into it and buy into your idea, and then you see yourself moving very, very far ahead. So let's look at signs of leadership momentum. What are the signs of leadership momentum? How to know momentum is working. Opportunities begin to increase consistently. Things begin to happen around you. Opportunities begin to come to you. People begin to come to be of help to you. Profile you opportunities, profile you help, profile you materials, resources. That is how you know that you are beginning to gather momentum. So team members become more motivated and confident. When there's momentum, you see it in the spring of the step of your staff, in the people around you, even yourself. There's energy, the aura in the office, in the area is different. So your team members become more motivated and confident that yes, we know that their job is secured. Yes, we know what we are doing in this company, so nobody can take away anything from us. And results start compounding faster than effort. So the results will begin to compound faster. A little effort they make, so much results will begin to come in. That is the essence of momentum. So resistance and fear reduce significantly. People become less afraid. People they don't resist the idea like that again. Why do people kick against ideas? Because when they fear it to take away their job, if they fear it's going to crash the company. But when there's momentum and they see that this thing is working, resistance will just drop down, and then fear will, significantly be reduced. Just like in a home, at times the man of the house can say, "Oh, honey, I want us to move. I want us to start something new." If the wife might resist it, the children might resist it because of fear. They don't want to lose capital. They don't want to lose their energy and their effort. So you see some people trying to kick against some things. So that is how it is in your business. Now, what kills momentum? Common momentum destroyers. What can actually kill your momentum? Lack of consistency in leadership. As a leader, you need to be consistent. You can't be talking from two sides of your mouth. Hello? You need to be consistent in leadership. So when you are not consistent as a leader, then you are going to have a lot of challenges. Your followers, your workers, they will stop believing in you. They will become afraid of your leadership, and they can easily jump ship. Some of them will maybe go away and look for other companies. They can start working in and all that. So as a leader, you must be consistent. You can't be talking from two sides of your mouth. Negative thinking and discouragement. Don't allow negative thinking to come in, and don't allow people to discourage you from your vision. As a leader, you must, rule out negative thinking and discouragement. Don't allow anybody to come and discourage you from your vision. Don't allow anybody to talk down at what you're doing. Don't allow negative thinking, doubt to set in. Once doubt sets in, it begins to whittle down all the efforts you have made. So, and poor communication within teams. When there's no clear line of communication in your team. Like I normally give an example in a home. You can't be leaving the house as a mother and you say, oh, you maybe have 4 or 5 children in the house. And you say, oh, sweep the house, wash the dishes, do the laundry, tidy the lawn. Oh, hello. You're coming back to chaos because nobody is going to do it because you didn't give any streamlined order. But if you're leaving the house and say, oh, Akudo, do the dishes, Michael, do the laundry, Favor, do the bedrooms, tidy the bedrooms, Ikenna, take care of the lawn. You see, everybody will quickly put things together because they know that once you come back and those things are not done, they are the ones that, that will take the heat, So you need to communicate clearly with your team, with the people working with you. This is what we want to achieve. This is where we are going. And also, constant distractions and unclear priorities can kill momentum. You can't be going, maybe just like you're traveling. Maybe you're going to, let's say, Aba, which we know from Port Harcourt is about 45 minutes drive or 1 hour drive. And then on your way to Aba, you now make a detour to Ahoda, which is like another 45 minutes away that is not just like parallel routes, And then you stop and say, oh, and you now come back again. Just like the analogy I gave last time. I said, imagine you go to a car park and you're traveling. Say you're going to Lagos. And then you get into the car, the bus, maybe a Sienna bus, a Sienna van. And then the driver, all of you are seated inside the van. And the driver that will drive you people comes didn't open the car to sit in the car, just opened the car door, didn't sit inside the car, now started walking around the vehicle. What do you think will happen? Everybody will say, thank God they will not move. Everybody will have stopped on the vehicle. They will even forget the money they have paid because they will feel that the driver is not well. And that is how it is here. So you can't always be distracted and have unclear priorities. You must know your priorities. This is what you want to achieve. This is where we are going. This is where we need to get to. Don't get distracted. And another thing, that momentum attracts a lot of how do I say it? A lot of suggestions. You see people coming to suggest to you, do it this way, do it this way, this way. If you're not careful, you'll be thrown off course. You'll be thrown off course. And of course, if there's some money available, you might end up spending your money in things that are not necessary. So even if there's momentum and there's money, please keep to the plan. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan, so that, and before you need to leave that plan to spend more money or add any other thing to what you have already, you need to sit down with your team and brainstorm on it so that you don't get carried off course. Now, understanding the law of priorities. Leaders must know what matters most. As a leader, you must know what matters most. You must know what matters most. Yes, you cannot, you cannot just be everywhere at the same time. You need to know what to do first. You need to know what to go first in the line of production. Like I normally say, you don't build a skyscraper from the roof. I don't think anybody in this life has ever, you're walking on the road and see the roof of a skyscraper first. Even a hut, you don't just see the roof hanging in thin air. What are the pillars? Likewise, in your business, there must be a structure, there must be a foundation, there must be pillars that will carry the roof. So please, as a leader, you must understand that, the law of priorities. Know what matters most and do that first. You can't say, I want to build a 2-story building and then you start from the roof. No, you start with getting the land and then digging the foundation, testing the soil and all that. So this is how it is. Know what matters most and stick to it and get it done. Not everything important deserves equal attention. Not everything important deserves equal attention. So some things need more attention and some things need less attention. So if you know those ones that need more attention and that will give you more leverage, financial leverage and otherwise, then you focus on them. Like in the book, John Maxwell explained that anything, you talked about the 80-20 Pareto's principle, 80-20% rule. He said that anything that he knows that he can do, but somebody else can also do it and do it well, he will delegate it, he will outsource it. He will outsource it. Why should he waste his time doing something someone else can do on the team? So use his time for better things. So great leaders separate activity from productivity. It's not being active that makes you productive. So like what you're talking about right now, I know that things my staff can do. And then I now sit down and start doing it. For Christ's sake, is that not crazy madness? Because I have so much on my plate. All I need to do is to teach them how to do, just like in a home. You teach your children how to be part of your home. Some mothers work themselves to the bone. You have grown kids, 12, 13, 14, 15, nobody is doing anything. You are the one that will come back, you cook, you pick up after them, you do the laundry, you pick up after them. Hello. So that is how it is in leadership. That is how it is in your workplace. You need to know what matters most and you need to learn to delegate. You need to learn to spread it so that you don't get yourself burnt out. Great leaders separate activity from productivity, as I said. So know the ones that are just activity. Some people just like being seen everywhere, from the gatehouse to the laundry house, everywhere they are being seen. Like I think it was Zig Ziglar, he say, don't be a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific. Yes, that was how he said it. He said, are you a meaningful specific or a wandering generality? Some people just wake up, they're just generally wandering up and down, but there's no specific thing they can pin down to say, we have done this, we have achieved this. He said we shouldn't be that way. So priorities protect leaders from burnout. if you prioritize, you will not get burnt out. But if you don't prioritize as a leader, you will get burnt out. So likewise, whether in your home, you need to prioritize. You can't do everything. You can't be the fire starter, can't be the fire quencher. And that is why, like I was telling someone the other day, I said, I saw a lady online who had 3 dogs. Not the breed is small dogs, 3, but not too small though. And she was bathing them and cleaning their feet. Anytime they go out and come back, she bathes them, clean their feet, wear them their clothes, feed them. And I said to my friend, I said that a human being is actually better than this dog. Because this woman now, there's no end in sight to this petting and pampering and taking care of these dogs, because they can never bathe themselves. They can never wear their shoes or whatever, stockings, or wear their clothes by themselves. But if it's a human being, if it's a child, at some point in the next 2 or 3, 4 years, the child can wear their own shoe. They can go and bathe themselves. They can do something for themselves. They can wash their dish, something. But these puddles, those dogs, for life, anytime they climb the upstairs and they go out and play, walk and come back, they will set their hand, their mom will wash. So that is how it is. There's no freedom. There's no end in sight if you don't learn to, prioritize, and also, get other persons on your team to be part of what you're doing. So priorities will protect you as a leader from burnout, or as a mother, as a father from burnout. So focus determines long-term impact and legacy. What you focus is going to determine how long your productivity is going to be, and also your legacy. So let's look at the danger of busy leadership. The danger of busy leadership. Being busy is not the same as being effective. You can be busy, but you're not effective. And some people do it. Like I used to tell a lot of people who used to come and stay with me, I said, see, I like people waking up and doing what they're supposed to do. You don't need to be perambulating the whole place. Just do what you need to do and rest. Just sit down and have your peace, for Christ's sake. Like I used to say about one of my sisters, then I'll go to her house, her housekeeper will just, one of her young housekeepers will just, once my sister leaves the house, you see her, she'll just go and coil up somewhere and be sleeping. Once she hears pee, you see her all over the place. I say, are you okay? I can't understand it. Do you understand? So being busy is not the same as being effective. Some people could be busy, but you still come back, the house is looking dirty. The whole place is untidy. That is how it is in your firm. If you are always busy but you're not effective, or your staff are just being busy but are not effective, there's nothing they can say, this is what we have achieved for today, then you need to go back to the drawing board. So many leaders confuse motion with progress. Motion is not progress. You can go out every day and you don't know what you have done. It's like when you are doing exercises and maybe you are taking a walk. You don't know how many steps you have done for the day. You need to be specific. You need to monitor your progress. So don't confuse motion with what? Progress. And that's what you need to do as a leader. Pinpoint those staffs that are always moving around. Some of them, their work is just to go from place to place, gossiping, talking to different persons. There's nothing specific. There's no progress. They're not bringing anything to the table. They just come and gist for the whole day and then they go. So you need to learn how to ensure that everybody is on board and something is being achieved in the company every day. No, constant busyness weakens strategic thinking. And when you are too busy as a leader, it takes a lot to think. That is why a manager can be paid so much money, because he's using his mind, his intellect. While a layman or not getting a job man doesn't get paid as much. So when there's so much motion, you can't think. You need to sit down to be strategic in your thinking. And overcommitment reduces excellence and quality. Some people overcommitted. They're everywhere. They're in one meeting or the other. Overcommitment. They are in they want to be everywhere. Please don't stretch yourself thin. Don't stretch yourself. You don't need it. Don't be overcommitted. Check, like John Maxwell said, that he had to sit down at some point and sell one of his companies, because he said it was a tough decision, but he had to do it for his health and for him to now focus more on the things that really mattered. Right? So Overcommitment reduces excellence and quality. He also talked about when he checked, when he was living in San Diego and he had to do, he always traveling to connect flights to travel and all that, as he had to go down to the drawing board. I'm recording. He had to go back to the drawing board. And what did he do? He said he asked his secretary to check how many hours he spent the previous year on on flights. Agudo, sorry, hold on. Sorry, I had a bit of distraction, so we continue. Okay, I think we're on slide 7. So, as I said, John Maxwell said that at some point he had to consider where he was staying. He was living in San Diego, beautiful city. He loved the place, but one time he asked his secretary Linda to check how his last year was. And the lady told him that he spent 27 days alone on transit and on flights, just to meet connecting flight. It took a whole 27 days. And he was like, wow, he had to go back to the drawing board and think of what do I do? So they now chose to move the company to Atlanta and move a lot of his staff with him to Atlanta. And within Atlanta, he doesn't need to travel for hours or days to connect with any flight. Within 2 hours, he's already out. He can go for a day's trip, finish the training, and still come back that same day to Atlanta. And 10 years on, he had saved 270 days. Now, what did that do for him? It gave him more time for his family and everybody around him and his companies. Now, effective leaders learn to say no wisely. As a leader, you must know how to say no wisely. You don't say yes to every opportunity. You don't say yes to everything. You need to know your strengths. You need to know that some yes might derail you or topple all your dreams or your vision. So learn to say no. Check very well. There's some help that you don't need. There's some people that will come into your company, and then just like this morning, I was listening to a sermon by David Ebiemie, and he was saying something that when somebody in the ministry offered free land to the church to build, come and build their permanent site. I said, God there, he had prayed already. But I said, God there, the Holy Spirit told him, no, this is not the place. And he told the man, no. He now tapped the pastor that went with him. I said, no, this is not the place. The Lord said we should move towards the airport. And that was how they said no wisely. And then, God made a way. That place, the Lord said, and the church is going in leaps and bounds. So as a leader, you must learn to say no wisely. Some people will say, let us just get in there, let us start there and later. My dear sister, what will happen to you? You won't understand it. So you need to learn to say no wisely. So let us look at this leadership quote. A leader's greatest enemy is unnecessary distraction. As a leader, your greatest enemy is unnecessary distraction. You don't need to be distracted. Once you sense any form of distraction, please just move away. Just like when your child or you're praying for exams, and then that is when all your friends want to say, babe, Matt, let's go for a party. Matt, that's the distraction. It's like you as a mother, you have a teenage child who is about to write WAEC or maybe SSE, a serious exam or something, and then suddenly you notice that she's keeping friends, and her friends are coming to distract her. They come with a boom box, a music box, and they're all dancing and making noise. Will you wait? Will you wait? You will chase that child, that so-called friend away, because that's a lot of distraction. But many of us tolerate distraction. We tolerate it. And then before you know it, it topples our carts, and everything we have worked for or we are hoping to achieve just goes south. Now, how priorities create momentum? Focus fuels sustainable growth. When you focus, you're going to fuel your sustainable growth. So, clear priorities produce consistent action. When you have clear priorities, definitely you are going to have consistent action being produced. And your consistency creates visible progress. When you're consistent, then your progress becomes visible. It's not something you do today and go to bed and leave it for the next 2 or 3 years and come back to it. No, you need to be consistent to have visible progress. Progress inspires people to participate. When you are progressing, people are watching. Some people are just stalkers, watching what you're doing, listening to you, watching. But sooner or later, what's going to happen? Once they begin to see there's momentum, there's progress, they will jump on board. They will say, Matt, that thing you'll be talking about, I would like to invest. I would like to be part of it. Because of what? Because you have been what? Consistent, and then because you're making progress, they are now inspired to join your team. Participation strengthens organizational momentum. When you make everybody to participate, just like when you, as I said about the house, you make sure everybody is part of a home. That is how it is as a leader. Make sure everybody in your organization is contributing positively to what is happening in the organization. Everybody must, all hands on deck. Don't allow some people to just be there gisting and waiting for salary. Make sure that you commit everybody to be part of what is happening, and then as they're participating, they are strengthened, they are happy, they are excited, you feel a part of something huge, and the energy and the aura in the workplace will be different. Likewise in the home, please always learn to lead from the front. Now let's look at the 80-20 leadership principle, the Pareto principle. So this focuses on the few that produce the most. It encourages you to focus on the few that produces the most. It said 20% of activities produce 80% of results. Likewise, 20% of your products will give you 80% of your profits. It's been proven. So your duty as a leader is to focus and not to be able to, note that those 20%. Note them, discover what they are, and then focus on them. That is what's going to give you all the money you need. So leaders must identify high-value responsibilities. That is what you need to focus on. Which one are the high-value responsibilities? Let me take them on so that they can give us high-value results. So, and time should be invested where impact is greatest. Put your time where your money comes out from, where the impact is. If you have 10 products and you see that is 1 or 2 that is being bought consistently, what will you do? You will not focus more, making sure that those ones are always on the shelf. You don't go and take money and now put on the ones that are not moving. That's madness now. So your energy now go towards those products or that are moving, that's bringing results. Energy management is as important as time management. If you don't manage your energy well, you're going to burn out. You have to manage your time and manage your energy. So you don't go and put all your energy into something that is not going to go anywhere, or will go somewhere but it's going to take a long time. So focus your energy towards that which will give you the results you're seeking for, and fast. So you're managing your energy and you're also managing your time. It doesn't make sense managing your time and why your energy is being expended in another sphere that you're not going to get anything from. Momentum in personal growth. As a person now, how do you enjoy momentum or ensure you have momentum in your personal growth? Leaders must build internal momentum first. As a leader, you need to build internal momentum first. It's like when you're a vision carrier, the vision comes to you first. So it's now your duty to take the vision out there, to get people to believe in the vision. So you need to build your internal momentum first as a leader. So personal discipline creates leadership credibility. You need to be disciplined as a leader. Create your own personal discipline. Read books. Lead from the front. Don't just talk, all talk and no action. You can't be talking and talking. Your workers are not seeing you do anything. Your team members are not seeing you do anything. No, you need to lead from the front. You need to discipline yourself to do what is expedient. Daily habits shape long-term outcomes. So what are your daily habits? That's what's going to shape your long-term outcomes. So as a leader, you need to prioritize what your daily habits will be. Like in the book, John Maxwell outline his daily habits, communication, learning, different, what you are doing. So go down and put your daily habits. I will talk to so many people, I will read how many books, I will do how many calls. So these are the things you need to do daily. And there are small improvements eventually create major transformation. Just a little improvement will create a major transformation. That's like you tell yourself, I'm going to wake up early to read a book. And that thing you're going to read is going to help you massively. Before you know it, just like Jim Rohn said something, that's, just as we normally say, you can't travel far within in your head and remain the same without that externally. Is that assuming you say you're going to read 10 pages of a book every day? In 10 days, you have read 350 pages of a book. In 30 days, that's like almost 1,050 pages of a book. Now, check it in 365 days. That you've read over 3,000 pages of books. So, and then all those things you're reading, they're coming into you, they're changing you, they're making you a better person. He said that initially it might not be obvious, but with time, your conversation will begin to change. Everything, people begin to take notice, and that is how it is with your personal growth. Small improvements eventually create major transformation. So self-leadership always comes before public leadership. You need to lead yourself first. You can't say, I want to go and lead the public. Well, it's not going to happen that way now. Self-leadership always comes before public leadership. So if you can't lead yourself, then you can't lead the public. Let's look at momentum in teams and organizations. So how does this relate? How leaders transfer momentum to others. As a leader, you must learn to transfer momentum to others. So your vision creates collective excitement. The vision you have is going to create a collective excitement. Get people on board. You should be like a house on fire. And when people come to watch you burn, drag them into burn with you. That is your duty as a leader. Create collective excitement. Encouragement increases team confidence. When you encourage people and you're there with them, you're there doing it with them, is going to encourage your team to be very confident in whatever you're doing. And then recognition strengthens commitment and loyalty. Learn to recognize those who are doing well. Learn to appreciate them. Some people are there by 7 a.m. Some people are there by 8. Oh, Mr. John, thank you. I saw you for all your efforts. Recognize them for what they are doing, for their input, their energy, their time, their efforts. Learn to recognize people, and their, this is going to strengthen their commitment and loyalty to you or your company. Consistent victories build organizational belief. Consistent victory builds organizational belief. When the company is always constantly achieving victory, just like in the case of Pixar and Disney, that John Maxwell used as examples in the book, in the write-up. When the company began to, have a lot of victories, you see a lot of people who was happy. The organization, people believe in the organization, and everybody was trying to have a slice of the pie, buying shares and everything. So let's look at prioritizing vision over pressure. Prioritizing vision over pressure. So great leaders do not react to everything. You don't react to everything. You internalize. You sit quietly. You strategize. You think about things. And urgent tasks are not always important. Like he talked about the guy that took over General Electric, I think John Welch. And then they said they had over 350 companies under GE. What did he do as he came on board? He scored them, either 1 or 2. Is this very important? How are they scoring? The ones that scored 2, he found a way to sell them off or to merge them with other ones. And then at the end of the day, what happened? From 360 or 50 companies, he now whittled it down to 14 companies that are still being reckoned with worldwide today, then with some other subsidiaries. Initially, people didn't like it, but fast forward, what happened? The shares of the company soared. He ensured he maintained, they now stuck to those ones that are very, very lucrative and are bringing turnaround for them. So as a leader, he knew what to do. Vision-focused leaders avoid emotional decisions. Don't make decisions when you're emotionally down or traumatized. Don't be emotional. Make vision-focused decision. This is where we are going. This is what we can get. And strong priorities protect long-term goals. When you have strong priorities, you're going to protect your long-term goals as a leader with strategic thinking that prevents wasted effort. When you strategically think about these things, you're going to ensure you don't waste effort, you don't waste your energy, you don't waste your capital, you don't waste your time. That is the value. That is the value strategic thinking brings to the table. So building momentum during difficult seasons. How do you build momentum during difficult seasons? Leadership during resistance and delay. There are going to be resistance, there are going to be delays. Some people will intentionally want to frustrate you. They have been programmed to frustrate you, especially some so-called leaders. That is why you find out in some companies, once there is new management, the leadership, the top leaders are the first ones they want to change, because they will want to block everything you are talking about. So momentum often starts slowly before accelerating. So initially, why slowly? Because there's resistance. People are looking at it. People are saying, does she know what she's doing? What are they saying? Are we going to go this way? They are watching. So slowly it will start. Momentum is just gathering momentum gradually before what? Accelerating. Just like an airplane. It first of all taxis along the runway, then it gathers speed, momentum, and what happens? It gets airborne. That is how your company should be. So difficult seasons test leadership character. When seasons are difficult, times are difficult, that is when your character as a leader will be tested. And that is when we know those who are leaders and those who are not leaders. Persistence creates breakthrough opportunities. As a leader, you must be persistent. I remember this the poem by O.G. Mangino. I will persist and I will persist some more. I will persist and I will persist some more. So as a leader, you must learn to persist and you must persist some more. That is what is going to lead to your breakthrough opportunities as a leader. Strong priorities keep leaders grounded under pressure. When you have strong priorities, it's going to keep you grounded under pressure. You won't be swayed easily to the side or to the center. You are focused, you are where you are. You believe, because you have a lot of strategic thinking has gone into what you're doing, so nobody can easily sway you and move you around. Practical leadership habits for momentum. Daily practices that build big momentum. Start each day with intentional goals. Each day must be started with intentional goals. Celebrate small wins consistently. Always celebrate small wins. That makes you know that you're moving forward. And then maintain positive energy and communication. Let there be positive energy in your workplace, in your home, and always learn to communicate with everybody in the house and in your team. Communicate. Don't be an autocratic leader. Don't be the person that is always, that knows it all. Please allow everybody to contribute. Everybody has something to give. Protect focus from unnecessary distractions. Ensure everybody is focused on the task at hand and there's no unnecessary distraction. Just like I said about your child who's preparing for an exam and her friends come with music box every day to gist and laugh and watch television. What do we do as a mother? Will you keep quiet and watching them? No, you have to chase them out. So priorities for emerging leaders. What young and growing leaders must focus on. 1, you must develop valuable skills continuously. You need to keep learning. You need to keep embellishing and keep polishing what you have. Developing valuable skills continuously. Like in the book, John Maxwell talked about the guy that started with, in 1974, he started, and then almost 20 years later, where was he? Because here was his dream, to make animated videos, full feature films, animation. What is happening today? That was somebody's vision. And he went for it. And today, the whole world is full of animes everywhere. So developing valuable skills continuously. You don't say, I know it, and then you stop. You keep doing it. You keep learning. You keep, polishing, adding to what you already know, and building strong relationships and networks. As a leader, you need to learn to build strong relationships with your team and other persons in other industry and networks, like we saw it play out in the narratives John Maxwell gave. How a guy was employed by Disney and then Pixar, and then he went and brought his friends, and that was how all of them came and worked, and then they got what they were looking for. Then maintaining integrity and discipline. Ensure you maintain your integrity and your discipline as a leader. Investing in vision instead of temporary pleasures. Now let me go back to maintaining integrity and discipline. I talked the other day about maybe a pastor I was talking about a church around my area that used to be very populous and people everywhere. And suddenly, I don't know what happened, but it must have been something very terrible. You hear pastors fiddling with their choir girls and all that. Something terrible. And then that was how the whole thing went south. So please, you must maintain integrity and discipline. Investing in vision instead of temporary pleasures. Like, invest in the vision you have. Don't take your money and just be in pleasure, traveling, doing things. Invest in the vision instead of temporary pleasures. That's what you need to do. Invest in your vision to see it come to fruition. So, leadership reflection questions. I would like you to answer this question. Questions every leader must ask. What activities truly move my vision forward? Are you taking the activities that will move the needle of your vision forward, or take it backwards? You need to ask yourself that question. And where am I losing unnecessary energy? Check yourself. Like John Maxwell said, he had to sit down and discover that 27 days in a year he's always on transit. Not the main flight though. He's traveling to catch a flight in another town to be able to get to another place. 27 days in the whole year. So he had to know that energy was being expended unnecessarily on that. What did he do? He went back to the drawing board and then moved. What habits are strengthening or weakening momentum? What habits am I imbibing or adding that are strengthening the momentum, the speed I'm garnering, or detracting from that speed, weakening it? You need to pinpoint what those habits are and move them away, flush them out. What should I stop doing immediately? What should I stop doing immediately? That is very, very key. As I said, there are things you don't need to do. There are things you can outsource. There are things you can delegate. Anything that somebody else can do and do it well, like 100% like yourself, my dear, you don't need to do it. Pay the person to do it. That's just the gospel truth. Pay them to do it. Now, the key takeaways for this class, lessons from the big momentum plus priorities is 1. Momentum can accelerate leadership success, and priorities determine the quality of your results. Your priorities determine the quality of your results. So, like John Maxwell said, immediately he stopped traveling, wasting time on transit just to go and connect to the flight. He said, what happens? Business, became better. And he had more energy, he had more time, and he was not wasting hours upon hours trying to connect. Now he can just take a 2-hour flight, get there, finish his training, come back to his home and everything. So priorities determine the quality of your results. You need to learn to prioritize. Focused leaders achieve more with less stress. If you're a focused leader, you're going to achieve more and then with less stress. Sustainable growth requires discipline and clarity. For sustainable growth, it's going to require lots of discipline and clarity. Then when focus meets consistency, momentum becomes unstoppable. Let us look at this signature statement. When focus meets consistency, then momentum becomes what? Unstoppable. So your next leadership move starts today. So stop chasing everything at once. That's my advice. Stop chasing everything at once. Remember I said a bird at hand is more than many in the bush. You chase 5 rabbits, all will run away, and so you can't get anyone. So you need to stop chasing everything at once. Focus on what truly matters most to you, on how you are going to achieve things. Focus on it. Build momentum through daily consistent action. That is how you can build momentum. Refuse distraction and commit to purposeful leadership. Say no to distraction. I already said. You can't have a child that's waiting for exams and then every day her friends will come and distract her. Likewise yourself. Don't get distracted. Every flash in the pan, you are chasing it after it. I know what's that. Refuse distraction and commit to purposeful leadership. Now your future is not built in one giant momentum, in one giant moment. No future is built in one giant moment. It is built daily through focused priorities and consistent momentum. That is how futures are built. It's built daily through focused priorities. What must I do today? And then consistent momentum. So start moving, start leading, start becoming the leader your vision requires. Let me take it again. Start moving, start leading, and then start becoming the leader your vision requires. So thank you for being part of this class. I would like you to join the next Empowered Leadership session, which is on Wednesday next week, and share one major priority you will focus on this week. You know what you're doing, so look at what you want to focus on. Invite others to grow through Fundquarters Business School. We have over 100 and something videos on our channel. Many of them are free, so go and learn. Play it with your team on business growth, on leadership, on accountability, different things. Just keep learning. Life's about learning. Listen to these tapes. They're going to help you and help your team. And stay connected for more transformational leadership teachings. So our website is www.fundquarters.biz. Let me see if I can get the yes, that's our website. I hope you can see it. Fundquarters.biz. So go online and then be part of our trainings. And please don't forget to share this video with your friends. And it's not something you just listen to once. It's something you keep internalizing, And next week we're going to focus on the remaining laws, law 18 and 19. We did 16 and 17, so 18 and 19, and then maybe in 2 weeks' time, 20 and 21. So thank you for being part of this class. Once again, my name is Dr. Matilda Nwukor. I'm the lead partner of Fundquarters Business School and the Empower Her Academy, and also of For the Futures platform. Thank you, and see you